Since 1996, Pokemon has sold over 448 million games. Their first and best-selling games, Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow, sold over 47 million copies worldwide, making them the 13th best-selling video game of all time. The Pokemon Company has been releasing a steady stream of games since 1996, with their most recent game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, making its debut on November 18, 2022. These games sold 23 million copies, making them the 7th best-selling Nintendo Switch game. It may seem like everything was going smoothly during the initial release period, but as buyers started playing, issues arose. 10 days after release, Game Rant published an article discussing the disappointed feelings many fans had. At the time of publishing, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had a rating of 76 out of 100 on OpenCritic, and it has since dropped to a 71 out of 100 as of recording. Many of the largest complaints have to do with performance issues, including visual glitches, extreme lag, strange zooming and camera motions, and a general feeling of incompleteness. Popular video game media company, IGN, had some less than positive words on the performance issues of the game, with writer Rebecca Valentine stating, "These games run like garbage." She cites the game's inconsistencies when it comes to lighting, frame rate, and model glitches. Valentine's issues don't stop at glitches. She discusses the bugs she encountered while playing. When playing with friends, Valentine complained that my friend's bike turned invisible, and one of my friends appeared in the doorway of every building I entered in a weird YMCA pose. So what happened? Why were there so many issues after the initial release of the game? Many fans believe that the game was rushed. 2022 was the first year that 2 main series Pokemon games were released. Normally, there's only one series game released per year, with side games made for mobile or smaller games like Mystery Dungeon or Rumble released within the same year, with much less fanfare. In January 2022, Pokemon Legends Arceus, a prequel game, was released. Fans think that Pokemon put more resources into this game because of its many new features and graphics. The game also performed better with fans and critics, scoring an 84 out of 100 on OpenCritic and selling 14.8 million copies. Comparing sales alone, Scarlet and Violet sold better, but fans and critics enjoyed Legends Arceus more. It is believed that Scarlet and Violet were rushed out to gain a large profit from holiday sales. November releases make a lot of money because of the holiday season only a few weeks away. The games make for great presents for any Pokemon fans in one's life, and the Pokemon Company knows this. Instead of working on the game for a few more months in order to fix the glitches and frame rate issues, profits were deemed to be more important. 4 out of the 5 top-selling Pokemon main series games were released in the fall, usually around early to mid-November. While it would be impossible to say if Scarlet and Violet would or wouldn't have made more money if they delayed release by a few months, the top-selling games definitely make it seem like they would have had worse sales. The Pokemon Company releasing the games when they did makes a lot of sense. The games sold well, but they put money over quality. They got greedy and decided that it would be perfectly fine to release 2 huge main series games within the same year, with total disregard for the time it takes to make a quality game. It takes, on average, 2 years to make a mainline Pokemon game. 2 years to make a linear game. Both Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus are Pokemon's first fully open-world games. There is no way that developers were able to juggle 2 open-world games in the same year without issues arising, and issues definitely arose. The developers had limited practice with open-world games. Only a small section of Pokemon Sword and Shield, the predecessor of Scarlet and Violet, had an open world. The rest was linear. These developers were rushed while still learning how an open-world Pokemon game would look and run. It is no surprise that a noticeable amount of glitches, bugs, and lag were found. Later updates fixed most of the glitches and bugs, but players still find that the game lags when crossing over water or when entering a building. Of course, no game can ever be perfect, but it was obvious after the update that the developers only needed a little more time before having a pretty good running game. Only time will tell how Pokemon will improve from this mishap. For the sake of fans and the developers, one can only hope that they will slow down their output of games and instead focus on making quality, memorable games worth the time and money fans put into them.